Welcome back to Nick Lenz, Comic Corner Classic, Non-Classics. This is episode number 2128 and Doubleshot 2022. Yes, the year that was last year. This one discussing basically a Booster Gold trade, a Legion Superhero trade, and two-ish Booster Gold. Well, there's a reason for that. Okay, first up we have Booster Gold, Reality Lost. I believe this is the third volume of this trade series. This book collects Brave and the Bold, Volume 3, issue number 23, along with issues 11 and 12, and 15 and 19 of basically Booster Gold Volume 2. Before I talk about the main issues, if you're curious about 13 and 14, let's talk about that first. 13 and 14 is basically Booster Gold fending off invasion by, of all people, Starro. Yes. Yeah, that's pretty much what happens over the course of 13 and 14. He's basically fending off an invasion of Starro. And here's the thing. And you know the weird thing is, this I kind of think is the reason why these two parts was not collecting a trade. Is it terrible? No, it's really good. It's done by Rick Remender. One of his very few DC works he's ever done. Because when people think of Rick Remender, people think of his Marvel work more than his DC work. I mean, this is one of two books he worked on I can think of. I think the other book he worked on was All New Ant-Man. Adam. Yep. So, yeah, that's pretty much the story for that one. And it's great. I love Star. I kind of wish this was in trade, but it wasn't. Yep. 23. By the way, the issues in here. Vicious Cycle, I think it's the first two issues in here. That's done by Chuck Dixon with Dan Jurgens on the artwork. I think that's issue 23 here. Very bold. Reality Lost and Orange Omens is done by Dan Jurgens, who writes and draws the book. Yep. So the first issue, 23, Vicious Cycle, which goes Booster Gold number 11, which is simply basically like a kind of one of these time travel stories where Booster Gold is disguised himself as Killer Moth and taking on a version of Batman and Robin. Well, the Dick Grayson Robin, the Batcave. Yep. And we see Batgirl with this mysterious guy who causes her to people to disappear. And then, of course, Booster Gold gets involved. And deals with that monster. And then, of course, with DT. Then we cut to, get this, the Killer Moth Cave. No joke, it's a cave for Killer Moth. He has a Mothmobile, a Moth helicopter. There's a Moth everywhere. Yeah, apparently the guy is actually the Killer Moth himself. So, and of course he steals the Killer Mothmobile in order to pose him to make sure the Batman will capture him. Yeah, so you had Booster go pose him. Of course, this is going to come back later. And then we see apparently there's a robbery, and of course he's a robbery to finance a hospital. And apparently Killer Moth is now a hero. And apparently we see on the rooftop of what's supposed to be the GCPD, we see Poison Ivy and the Penguin. This is interesting. Yep, and apparently Killer Moth is like a hero, which is interesting. Similar as the Moth. And then we have, Booster go into the Batcave. Where we see, oh my gosh, this basically is so much fan stuff here. Okay, so we have the Batboat that was seen in Batman Returns. We see the 60s car from Batman's 60s TV show, which I heard is a Ford. Let's see. There is the Bat Plane. I believe this is designed from Batman the movie from 1989. We see the Bat Cycle. Yeah. And then we see Alfred show up. Yes, Alfred. Tries to shoot him. And this kind of leads into something weird happening. We have Booster take control of the dinosaur, which is funny. Hop on top of the dinosaur gets knocked out. And then, of course, you have Booster stealing one of the Batman's costumes. By the way, here in the background, we see a commando suit, basically an aqua suit, and looks like a freeze suit. A suit for every single occasion. Yep. So, oh yeah, there's also a space one as well. As next to the Gold Star, who is Booster's Ghost sister. After he steals the bat suit, then he steals the Batmobile with, of course, Alpha, was that Bruce Wayne without me in the middle of the day? Master Dick, how about many miscreants you and Master have riled? Is there anybody named Booster? Woo! Yeah, Booster Gold. I'm surprised he doesn't do the whole line from the show. Turbines of power, and of course they fire. Yeah, now in the show they had one booster in the back. Here they have two boosters. I'm like, what? And they pay a visit to Barbara Gordon. Yes, Barbara Gordon. Then we see Michelle put on Barbara's costume. Yeah. And of course knocks her out. Now, the scene is quite weird. Where, like, Barbara's there with her dad. Just kind of an awkward scene, the way it's presented here. The way the artwork is presented, like, oh, she's so happy to see her father. And I'm like, I'm not going to say, but it just really creeps me out how the way this is drawn here. Just very creepy. Yeah, they have them disguise themselves as, oh yeah, let's just basically disguise himself as. And then here's the thing, we have Boost not disguised as Batman, but as Elvis. Yes, freaking Elvis. Uh-huh. Sing for me, baby. Yes, I'm basically quoting Elvis. It's so funny seeing this. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about Elvis and people that impersonate him. They go with the Las Vegas suit. Always a Las Vegas suit. Now, any other outfit he's worn over the years, always the Vegas suit. And this is basically the Vegas suit. So, then we have Killer Moth basically do his robbery. And then we have Killer Moth say, like, Boss says, I know, it's Batman Robin. Okay, it's not. It's Batgirl and the King? Yes, that's funny. Because you have Booster Gold disguised as Elvis Presley. Yeah, and of course you have Booster beating up. And of course Killer Moth doesn't know, hey, why do you have gauntlets on your suit, Elvis? And proceeds to beat him up, also breaking a statue. And by the way, this is basically under that mask supposed to be Booster punching himself. And they're like, oh crap, I got in trouble. And of course, like, Willie Dilbert, this mistake was hurt. But wait, we're on your side. Here's your goodies. I understand. I'm free to go to success? Just promise to do it to his hospital. I think I will. And then we lead to a knife. This knife basically is the plot thread for a lot of these issues. So we have them fly away. And here's something though. Now here's the thing. Batgirl is a redhead. This is a blonde. Why doesn't Commissioner Gordon figure out though that, hey, Batgirl is supposed to be a redhead. Why is she a blonde? This is not Stephanie Brown. Yet, not for several years. So then we have apparently the elongated man show up. Yes, the elongated man, Ralph Dibny. Where's the mysterious knife? Then we have 15. By the way, that was 12. They were already 15 already. Yeah, for some reason, because, well, they're filling issues, so they go through time traveling. And then we have Michelle be a model for Leonardo da Vinci. Yes. Oh, and by the way, Michelle is butt naked. Yes. And here's the thing. I'm surprised none of the guys in Justice League have told him when they see his sister, like, hey man, your sister's hot. So then of course they take another model, be the model for, well, Mona Lisa, and then something weird is going on because of the knife, and of course, well, Things start unraveling. Of course, he runs into the elongated man. He's like, Ralph, I'm not here in the right place. I'm here to put something back. It's me, Boost to Go. We're friends. My public identity is hardly is maybe public news. That's how I put the first name B. His name is Elongated Man. Come on, it's the worst super name ever. So that's what calls a Boost to Go. A Boost to Go. Doesn't make any sense. Also, the museum was robbed. It's not a year or young suspect. That was Killer Moth and Willie Dilbert. I only let them take what they were supposed to take, except something got messed up. Let them. You saying you're a time traveler from the future? Would you explain? Think of me as a time cop. And listen, okay. Ouch! Yeah, he gets fried. Sorry about that. I need you to hear me out, Ralph. There was a knife in that case, and now it's missing. And it's messing with our future. Ooh. You said it's supposed to be under the case. It was me left. Then when something got more complicated. So what's a Boost to Go, and how did you know you're really on level? A few years now, we'll be in the you will be in the JLA. Believe it or not, I'm gonna be tight with Batman. Of course he will. No one's that Batman. Trust me, it's true. You're saying I'll be in the JLA? Me? I am in most of them. JLA, JLE, JLI, one of them. I've heard of the JLA, but the others? Justice League Europe, Justice League National, Justice League Universe. Now that's funny. And fun fact, Dan Jurgens actually wrote Justice League International of Justice League America right after the original creators left. So then we have let's show a flash of the future with Elongated Man wearing a completely different costume, wearing a purple costume from the 80s, where he's there with his beautiful wife. And then it's like, oh, we happy together? And then we have a flashback to Identity Crisis. Yes. One of the most mixedly received storylines in the last 20 years. Written by Brad Millett. I reviewed it. It's interesting. It's great artwork for it, but man, the storyline is so confusing. The fact that, of all people, Jean Loring was responsible for killing him. I want to get back with her husband. And of course, Ralph fell apart. And of course, here's the thing. In the future, prior to this, Ralph died in the pages of 52. Yeah, for some reason, the writer of 52 decided to kill him off. I'll get to that when we get more 52. So they agreed to somewhat work together to take on this mysterious guy in purple. Who is this guy? Don't know yet. And we see the future. Well, actually, it's the past. Oh crap. And by the way, we have great cover by Brian Stifley. Met the guy. Yeah, we have guest appearance issue by classic DC character, the Enemy Ace. Yep. And they have, Elongated Man being with Sue. And he's with this, and of course, Bruce Wayne's a soldier. And of course, you ask him like this: who's the best player in baseball? Easy for this era. That guy would be Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth's more a pitcher than a hitter. Everyone's TV. It's TV copy, no one else. Toy copy, no one else. That way, Willem. Ever see Ruth hit in person? Why, no. Ain't sorry to say. Well, now I know Cobbs won his share of betting titles. But Babe Ruth is the real deal. What you should I prove here? My name is Carter. Michael Carter, you say. Cyrus. This guy's actually related to a character that Booster Go doesn't like, so. And then they meet the Enemy Ace. Yep, they fire him, of course, takes him to custody afterwards, goes to his castle. Meanwhile, you have Michelle being chased by the Pacific Man in purple. Yeah, it's like, though, that I like the fact that Enemy Ace is really being a pretty decent person. Then we see Knife and flashback. And then, of course, he gives him the knife because, a knife, not the main one. And of course, he finds in this game. Cyrus Lord! Yes, because this is World War I. You know what that means. This guy is Maxwell Lord's. Well, he looks like it. I think it's probably his grandfather because Enemies is a World War I character. So, because if you look at, let's say, Maxwell in 80, he's probably in his 30s at that point. This is probably, I don't think it's his father per se. I think it's more like his grandfather. And just by sheer coincidence, he looks exactly like him. No, seriously, he does. Then Michelle gets attacked by the Man in Purple. And then he returns to look like the president. And of course, he runs into Kid Flash. And then we see something early on in this series where like Supernova was actually his father. They have more crazy stuff. And apparently, then he time travels to just before Barry Allen gets his powers as, well, the Flash. And he runs the security guard. Turns out to be Kronos, an old Atom villain. Yes, Kronos. He's like, oh, come on. Why do I get out of the lightweights? Kronos like, you know me? David Clayton, small-time thief, utilized the concept of time planning and perfect timing to pull off the Time Heights. Totally Bush League, with the worst costume ever. No one speaks to me such insolence. Why not? Both idiots, after all. Yeah, and of course this guy is like, only complete buffoon would hold some concept of time return for petty thievery. And he breaks like, you came here to steal clocks? Clocks? How did you know that? You came for clocks. And ignored the key that's right in your nose. The knife. That knife? Imagine fools like you making tampering polite thief. Yeah. The thing with Kronos is, he's a Ray Palmer villain. I think he may have fought Hawkman. There is a live-action version of this character, and he doesn't wear the suit. He just basically mercenary works with Time Masters. So, who this guy is, not going to really yet. And of course, it runs to Michelle. They have a flashback. Of course, Barry finally goes to become the Flash. And then Booster runs to himself, which is not a good idea to do. Yep. Then he has up with the Scarab. Of course, it's nice to lead to the very next story arc. He fights his character, then of course he deals with other stuff. Fights, we see Starfire in a flashback. Then we end this with the epilogue, where apparently Booster Gold is apparently dead. And he came back, and of course she takes out Skeets. Though he's back, don't worry about that. So, deals with other stuff in Egypt. Eventually, Rip Hunter basically is there. And what's on his board? Let's see. Batman and Robin aren't really Batman and Robin. He's coming back. The Immortals will fight side by side. Keep Vigilante of the Titans. The equation is out there. The equation is out there. It's a tease for Final Crisis. Excuse me. Yes. The Immortals fight side by side. That could be also Final Crisis as well. To me, Keep Vigilante Way Titans. That's the Death Trap crossover. Batman. I'm not really sure about that one. Then with Origins Omens, which basically just stuff leading to stuff related to Blackest Night. Yep. But really good stuff here. I love this book. I give Booster Gold Reality Lost a 10 out of 10. It's that damn good. Next up we have is Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. Volume 4, Adult Education. Which collects issues 20 to 25. Yep. Oh, and fun fact, last issue of this book done by Mark Waid because Tony Bedard takes over for a little bit of time before he leaves and replaced by Jim Shooter. We have Barry Kitson on the artwork with Adam Critcher as additional artwork. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. When it comes to that in synopsis. So we have basically we have the new Legion headquarters, and I believe this was the headquarters they have for Reign of the Run, because especially with Earth God, some are not happy with it, but they have no choice in the matter. So the Legion of Superheroes basically do with more cosmic space stuff. Yeah, really fun stuff here. And of course you have Supergirl flirting with Cosmic Boy, which is hilarious. Now you might be curious though, was there any version of the lead superheroes where Cosmic Boy fell for Supergirl? Nope. It was always Brainiac 5. Yep. So this stuff here with Dream Girl. And of course these people are like, no. They can't get away with this. They lead planets. Legion of Super Delinquents. Also have related to Colossal Boy. Yeah, and then of course they shrink. Yeah, and then of course these people just kidnap him. Yeah, there comes a minor plot thread here where Colossal Boy tries to escape, but he gets taken out by these wannabes who keep beating him up for no reason at all. They have him take him on, and eventually he's taken. Oh, by the way, did the Legion go after him? Not really, no. And then we have, well, Brainiac 5 being irrational, attacking Sunboy. Dream grows in his head. Saturn Last apparently is trying to move on to basically flirt with Karate Kid. Doesn't really work. Apparently kissing was the one way to communicate. And of course just become close friends. Yep. Yeah, Kaz, I told you. Call me Kara. Thanks, Cosmic Boy. We're still not voting for you. Uh-huh. And of course, well, there's a membership meeting. There's basically a leadership thing coming up. And you have Sunboy with the look like a version of Dominators. This all lead up to the very next arc, basically Dominator War. Yeah. Still really good stuff here comes Legion. Of course, Kara Thanos think he's basically dreaming, but no, she's in the future. And she gets remember to Legion Superheroes just for these issues, and, well, get to the very next trade. Yeah, and of course, Saturn Last basically deals with the related term people. A lot of really stuff happening here. And then we have the most interesting thing happen here. Mon-El contacts the Legion of Superheroes asking him to free from all places, the Phantom Zone. Yep. So that becomes a plot there for the main issues, basically trying to free him. Oh, with the Legionnaire stuff. And then apparently Phantom Girl decided to go into the Phantom Zone, and apparently while she's going, apparently they changed her attire to look more like change her hair. And runs into Mon-El. And it was all about fighting the criminals of Krypton, who apparently escaped the Phantom Zone. And eventually, of course, Mon-El does get out of the Phantom Zone. Don't worry about that. Then he fights Supergirl for no reason. Actually, he's very hazy, can't see much anything. Eventually, does get cleared up, no problem. By the way, Colossal Mon-El gets freed after he's cleared up. Says, "My name is Mark Rats. Welcome to the 31st century, Mon-El. I'm in charge." Yeah, then apparently he's taken by this other group who associated with Sunboy, and that's kind of how the main story ends. Then we have stuff related. We have some backup stories from issues 12, 11, 12, and like 20, 19, I think it is. Yeah, just are stuff related to Legion Superheroes. Not really much going on here per se when it comes to these ones, but I found this book really good. I'm gonna give this book a 9 out of 10. Okay, so yeah, that's it particularly. Next up, more digital comics, digital trades. And it's going to be 2 crossover stuff. One of them is going to be a Legion book. You'll find what it is soon. Okay, next video.